We back with another Semen Richardson video, guys. And the question is when to release. And so many guys be wondering, like, when should I release? I've been on this journey for a while now. I've been on this journey for 6 months, and I'm back feeling normal. Well, I've been on this journey for a year, and I'm back feeling normal. But when you're supposed to release, guys, when it's actually necessary, is when you're having a child, or when it's time for your body to release sperm naturally for itself. You see, your body will naturally release by itself. But I don't know if you notice that when you use the bathroom and you pee, right, and you see a little sperm in the toilet, you be wondering, like, what's going on? Like, did I relapse? A lot of you guys be thinking, like, did I relapse? Oh man, they be getting mad, upset. No, you did not relapse. It's just your body is releasing those sperm cells that's no longer supposed to be in your body no more. That's when you're supposed to release. Or when you're ready to have a child. That's why I think that's a good time to release. Because you done build up so much sperm, now it's time to you to release. See, because your sperm, it reaches its full maturity, which is spermatogenesis, within, like, I think about 60 days. So as you holding that in 60 days, or even you've been holding it in longer than that, your sperm, when you're ready to reproduce, when you're ready to, like, you know, have a baby, get it in, your baby will be, like, you know, fully mature. Like, it'll be really, really healthy. That's what I mean by that. It'll be really, really healthy when, you know, when you release, because you got a lot of sperm in you. And you got a lot of protein that's going, you know, to hit that egg. So guys, this is when you should release. You know, because so many guys, man, be wondering, like, man, I feel normal, I feel natural. But you might notice, like, for an example, when I went, I think 4 months, the longest I ever went, when I went those 4 months, I started to feel back regular. When I was like, when I ran into, like, the 3rd month, excuse me, guys. When I ran into, like, the 3rd month, I started to feel back regular. Then, but my voice was deep. That's how I knew that I was, like, it's still beneficial. But I didn't really, like, really understand not to release it. And then I released, and then I regretted it later. Because I really wasn't supposed to be releasing. And plus, my body was already releasing the sperm that was not supposed to be in my body. Was like, sometimes when I, like, pee, it would just release by itself. Like, I would see it in the toilet. You know, a little drip of it in the toilet. But guys, man, this is when you're supposed to release. When you're ready to have a child, or if your body naturally just release when you are using the bathroom. This is when you're supposed to release, guys. Don't just release because you want to release. You're going to regret it later. Like, I've done this so many times in my beginning stages. I just released because I was horny and all this type of stuff. I just gave myself an excuse to release. Guys, you're going to regret it. And also, too, when I was in my 3rd month of doing semen retention, when I felt back regular, my brain, I felt good, though, mentally. I didn't really, like, I took that for granted. I took it for granted, and I was feeling good. You know, I was still feeling good. Just because you feel regular, that doesn't mean that you're not feeling good no more. So, excuse me, mentally, I was feeling good, guys. I was feeling good. And I just released because I wanted to release. That was the biggest mistake that I made. You know, I could have been still on that street right now. You know, it would have probably been like a year and some months in. Could have been still on that street, guys. But I decided, you know, to release when, you know, my body would naturally release by itself. When you know, those old sperm cells not supposed to be in your body, it'll just naturally release by itself. But I wasn't really paying that no attention. Because I didn't have no knowledge about that. When you see something come out in the toilet, that it's just releasing because it's not supposed to be in your body. But you still feel energetic. You still feel good. Guys, the body knows when to release. You don't have to release on your own or with a woman unless you're ready to have a kid. This is what I tell any guy. No, release when you're ready to have a child. Do not just be releasing because you seen a female on TikTok or you seen a female on Instagram or Twitter with big breasts and now you want to go get your lotion. That's just you just wasting your superpower. Bruh, you're going to regret it. Every time that you release when you're not supposed to release necessarily, if your body don't release it or you release to have a child, every time you release unnecessarily, you will regret it. I regret every single time I release. I regret it. But there's no more of that. I had to get more knowledge of it. I had to gain more wisdom of that my body is already naturally releasing, old sperm cells that I don't need. All I gotta do is just keep retaining my seed. And guys, man, you're gonna be able to manifest more. You still on this journey. It's just gonna keep building up. It's gonna heal so many different parts within your body and in your brain. You're gonna feel more stronger. Mentally, you're gonna feel more confident. You're gonna just feel so many different type of benefits that's going on in your body when you don't release. But guys, there's no really good reason to release unless you having a child or if your body naturally releases sperm when you like using the bathroom or something like that. There's no other reason to release. Guys, stay on the journey. I don't care if you 5 months in. I don't care if you one year in, 2 years in. Keep retaining your sexual energy because it's still building up inside of you. Even if you're feeling regular, it's still building up inside of you. And plus, mentally, you feeling better. Trust me. You feel a lot better than what you used to feel. Guys, man, trying to tell you, stay on the journey. Do not let nobody discourage you. Do not let your friends tell you, oh, bro, you've been on that jump for, you've been on semen just for a long time, bro. You need to go ahead and let it out. Yeah, you feel like that because you need to let it out. Nah, you're going to have flat lines and stuff like that. That don't mean that you're supposed to release. There's no excuse for you to release just because you have a flat line. No, you're not going to feel good all the time, but the majority of the time, you're going to feel good. All right, guys? So this is when you're supposed to release. When you're ready to have a child, or if your body releases it just on its own. When you pee, you see it in the toilet or something like that. It's releasing it because it's not supposed to be in there. So those new sperm cells can take its place so you can feel better. So you can elevate. Hope you got some out of this video. Hope you gained some wisdom, some knowledge. I'm just here to help you guys out because in the beginning stages of semen retention, I just learned this 2 weeks ago about semen retention. That your body, it just naturally releases, sperm by itself. When you urinate, when you pee, it releases sometimes. I ain't know that. I thought maybe you might have to release or something like that. Maybe I'm feeling a certain way because I have to release. No. Do it for yourself. You on this journey to help yourself. That doesn't, look, just because you're feeling normal after a certain amount of months you've been on it or a certain amount of years you've been on it, that doesn't mean that your manifestation not strong. That doesn't mean that your focus is not strong. That doesn't mean that nothing is going on in your body that's good because you feel like normal. Because you're going to reach that feeling. Because I reached that feeling. When I reached that feeling, man, when I first took this journey real serious, and I reached that feeling, like I said, the most months I ever been on semen was like 4 months. And then around the third and fourth month, I started to feel regular. And I thought that, my sperm wasn't doing anything in my body. No, it's still doing things in your body, guys. Okay? So, you just got to stay strong in this journey. Do not release just because you feel like releasing. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really no time to release unless you're having a child or unless you are also, too, unless you're trying to manifest something. Because when you having an orgasm, I've got to tell you guys, that's a third reason to release. It's really 3 reasons to release. When you having a child, or your body naturally releasing it, or if you want to manifest something. Because if you release and you focusing on what you manifesting, which is it's spiritual. Now this really, it's gonna take a lot of practice. You know,